We live in a time of crises. Pandemics, climate change, wars, and recessions all make the world of the 21st century feel unstable and fragile. Can the practices and discourses of liberal democracy address these crises, or are they headed for collapse? Are we doomed to an autocratic, war-torn, plague-ridden, and overheated future? What does politics look like at the end of the world as we know it? To address these questions, my dissertation turns to the apocalyptic politics of previous centuries. The political principles we take for granted, like individual rights and democratic self-government, themselves emerged through crises, namely revolutions. Modern revolutions were often seen by their contemporaries as apocalyptic, in that they revealed the temporary nature of all worldly institutions. Yet, since Daniel and John, apocalypse has had two faces: catastrophe and redemption, the destruction of the old world and the creation of the new. My dissertation centers on close readings of three authors who viewed modern revolutions apocalyptically. Political theorist Thomas Hobbes addressed the English Civil Wars of the 1640s, theologian Bruno Bauer, the revolutions of 1848, and economist John Maynard Keynes, the Russian revolutions of 1917. Across the centuries and the continent, Hobbes, Bauer, and Keynes grappled with the potential for human agency to completely transform the world in which we live. Each looks for ways to harness this transformative potential, to achieve redemption without catastrophe. I read these authors contextually, drawing on a wealth of secondary sources to ground my reading of each in the concrete stakes of his historical moment. The primary texts could be challenging, especially in the case of Bruno Bauer, whose work has mostly not been translated or even reprinted. Luckily, most of Bauer's works are digitized and readable in the original German. Unfortunately, they're also in the original 19th century typesetting. Thanks to this kind of digital access, though, I didn't have to change my research plans too much when the pandemic broke out. I had initially finished a draft of my proposal in February of 2020, and at that time, I hoped to visit the Keynes archives at Cambridge the following summer, which didn't work out. But the project remained manageable with the help of university and public librarians. CUNY's interlibrary loan system continued operating digitally, and the New York Public Library temporarily loaned out research collection books by mail. I relied very heavily on both. So, suppose these are apocalyptic times, and the last few years give us some evidence. The question remains, which face of apocalypse will we turn to? Catastrophe or redemption? Will we be overwhelmed by climate change, by pathogens, wars, and recessions? Or will we build a world that is more just, free, and equal? This is the political alternative at the end of the world. Thank you.